For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Yellow overwhelms red over in Trinidad and Tobago. Also coming up in the broadcast, somebody says that the St. Lucia National Trust is seasonal. And of course, today, we're alive today. So John Compton would have been 100 years old. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, on the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel, and on Power 97.9 FM. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. We discuss issues of relevance to you, matters of concern to you, and you'll be able to do so at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. For many people, from time to time, I think they're still hacking back to the period when Sir John Compton was at the helm of the government of St. Lucia. Why I'm saying that? Now, speaking from my own personal experience, and I believe that maybe that is a point of view that is being shared by a number of people on the island, that you felt that there was this leader who had your back. There was this leader who was in charge of the country. And even when from time to time you had violent crimes which stood out, which caught the attention of the St. Lucian public, you still got the impression that this leader, peerless leader, will deal with that particular issue in, if not a satisfactory manner, but indeed in the appropriate manner, whether it is through an address to the nation or some major appointment or the reshuffling of his cabinet. And he also undertook some legacy projects. And we can't say that about any of the other leaders. Not so John Compton, not Dr. Kenny Anthony, not Stevenson King, not Alan Shastney, not Dr. Vaughan Lewis, not Dr. Michael Pilgrim, who served during the interim government, not Stevenson King, none. But as you traverse St. Lucia and you look around, you come across the work of Sir John Compton. All that is required is for the succeeding leaders to build on that platform. And they have done this with limited success. You know why? Because most of them are just primarily preoccupied with things that are parochial and things that are ordinary. And what comes first for them is being re-elected into office. So sidewalks, a little project here, a little something there, etc. Nothing that really stands out, that will register with the people. And when they're gone, you have nothing to identify with those people. You disagree? Maybe some of you do. But Sir John Compton, for now, will go down as St. Lucia's most iconic leader, visionary individual. He had the gravitas, he had the class, he definitely had all the attributes of a leader. Very often came across as somebody who was decisive. You could have relied on his stewardship. Not so for many of the other individuals who has served and even serving at the helm of the St. Lucia government. And you know, many people in St. Lucia, they're known for one thing, and that is being hypocritical. So those people in the heydays of the United Workers' Party would have vehemently criticized Sir John Compton, castigated him, vilified him. Now, put a microphone before them, and believe you me, they would be showering praises upon him because of the dead hero society mentality that we have. Or maybe it was not politically prudent for them to be magnanimous towards Sir John Compton when he was in the political arena. But what is there for you certainly can never disappear. And so today, Sir John Compton, if he were alive, he would have been 100 years old. He passed away in 2007. And unfortunately, a lot of young people might be watching and listening to this broadcast right now, cannot identify with Sir John Compton. And unfortunately, you don't have sufficient material, whether it's audio material or the visual, or even books on Sir John Compton. What's there is very limited, 1 or 2 interviews. One of them I will share with you in a moment. Extracted a clip where he's talking about his highs and his lows as a politician. But first, earlier today, members of the United Workers' Party, they gathered at the Constitution Park that will have included the leader of the UWP to pay tribute to him. And there was a wreath-laying ceremony. And we might have some of the pictures to share with you during the course of, yes, we have it right now to share with you. Assembled just close to the statue of Sir John George Melvin Compton. Passed away in the year 2007, incidentally, just about a few months after he had led the United Workers' Party to victory in 2006. And Sir John had his way of words, he had the charisma, although sometimes he appeared very shy. But definitely, for a guy of short stature, he stood out as a leader. He also stood out among other regional leaders during that era when he was at the helm of the St. Lucia government. So let us hear now from Sir John Compton. This clip, extracted from an interview that was conducted by Jacinta Annius Lee in 2004, 21 years ago. And Sir John speaks about his highs and his lows.
I entered politics with two simple philosophies. When I entered, I was in the opposition to the established order. I entered in opposition to the established order. I decided to do what I can to break it. I'm satisfied that I have made changes. Okay? But in that way, I had one philosophy: to help the cause that needs assistance and to fight the wrong that needs resistance. Having fought the wrong that needs resistance, I was given the opportunity to help the cause that needs assistance. Having broken the back of the established order, the plantocracy, etc., it gave me an opportunity to help the cause that needs assistance, to educate the children, to bring water, electricity, whatever that I did. It is because I fought the cause, the wrong that needed assistance, so I could help the cause that needs assistance. Then, having done that, I look around and say, how should I conduct myself? I had one philosophy, that I must look not for tomorrow's vote, but look after tomorrow's children. If I had looked after tomorrow's vote, I would have been out of office a long time and with scandals. But tomorrow's vote, though important to me, because I must have it to do whatever little good I can do, tomorrow's vote was not the overwhelming factor. And I was given an opportunity not to look only for tomorrow's vote. The opportunity I was given, we come back to where I started. The people of Mico and Dennery gave me the opportunity to go out because my foundation was secure. I didn't have to look after that vote. Not this. This was secure. It's secured even today. In any one of those four constituencies, I can go without holding a meeting and win. Any one of those four. Dennery North, Dennery South, Mico North, Mico, any one of those four. Because what I did not have to look after them for votes, because they know where I stood with them. But my motto was to look after tomorrow's children. That is why when I left, they gave me a plaque with every secondary school that I established in this country. And when I go to drive down the street and I see the uniforms in every community, I see the uniforms of secondary schools. I am proud of that. You know.
What about your low?
My lows?
Any, if any?
No, there must be. When we lost the elections, I was not the 79 elections. I was devastated.
79.
79. 97, I was most philosophic about it. I didn't expect it. And I didn't expect the type. I didn't expect that type of result. I was disappointed. But 79 devastated me. I just had independence. I'd worked hard for independence. Another thing that was really, I wouldn't say low point doesn't mean I'm depressed. I mean disappointed. Is when I had just come back from the World Bank meeting, having just brought back a package for the banana industry, which it was an extraordinary, looking now, it was an extraordinary achievement to have got us to a quota of 127,000 tons of bananas for export. And coming down from my estate to meet the mobs in the street. And for them, the same place where I'd in Dennery Valley, same place, to see them shouting for my blood, you know. I felt like, you know, like Christ. I don't mean it in a blasphemous way. I know how Christ would have felt when it was, as he entered Jerusalem, it was Hosanna. And then when they take him, the same mob, without changing their breath, crucify him. So, you come back and you look back at these things. You have to, in public life, you have to be philosophical and you have to look back at history and to see it has all happened before. It's all happened to somebody before and it's happened to somebody after you. So it's part of the price that you pay to be in public life. So it is, what do you do? I mean, they shout, crucify him now, I pass the same crowd, Daddy John, give me a lift. Same crowd, what you do? Go home and cry? No. Do what, do what you have to do. Do what you've been brought up to do.
The late Sir John Compton today would have marked his 100th birthday. Former St. Lucia Prime Minister speaking in that 2001 interview with Jacinta Annius-Lee. Now, as you admire the man and realize that he was a deep, profound individual, a man of great perspicacity, very bright, intelligent, and you survey the political landscape and you monitor parliamentary proceedings, see the caliber of individuals, the utterances in the island's parliament. How does that make you feel? There hardly is anyone in the island's parliament of Sir John's stature today. And that is a shame. Still on politics, of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, the yellow dominated the red during general elections yesterday. And the People's National Movement of Prime Minister Stuart Young, they were booted out of office. The 2020 German election results, PNM 22 seats and the UNC 19 seats. As far as the 2025 German election is concerned, the results are preliminary. That at one point, I think the UNC had won at least 23 or 24 seats. The PNM 12 to 14 seats. The PNM also lost their stronghold of Tobago. And so Kamala Persad-Bissessar at 73 is back at the helm of the Trinidad and Tobago government, that republic. And the people just have had enough in Trinbago with the mismanagement of the oil sector and also crime. Crime has been a major issue in that country. 624 homicides recorded in a country of 1.5 million people in the year 2024. So the voters, certainly they have sent a strong message to the PNM. The PNM now has to rebuild, but it certainly will not be an easy task for the UNC, having promised so much to the voters, and they will have to deliver. Let us hear from Dr. Keith Rowley. Gave up the prime ministership just a few months ago to Stuart Young, but he remained as the political leader of the PNM, conceding defeat in the wee hours of today.
Tonight is not a good night for the PNM, but it might be a good night for Trinidad and Tobago. From all reports, we have conducted an election. Things have gone very well with the processes. The results are coming in now. And from what we have coming into Balizé House, it is clear at this time that we have lost the election. So this press conference is what we do. We've done it before, conceding defeat on election night, but tomorrow is a new day. We've had to concede on the night of December 1986, we conceded in 1995, and we conceded in 2010. So this 70-year-old party, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. Tonight is one of those nights where, surprisingly, we have not done very well in the general election.
You just heard there from Dr. Keith Rowley speaking in his capacity as the political leader of the PNM, now in opposition. Let us hear now from the victorious leader of the UNC, former Prime Minister, the first female Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. She became the first female Prime Minister in the year 2010, and she returns in 2025, Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Thank you for your confidence for a better TNT, and for letting the world know that we, the people, have the real power in Trinidad and Tobago. We the people, you are the people, you are the government. Not the fake elites, not the financiers with all their money, but the real people of Trinbago who have toiled and kept faith that you deserve better.
Prime Minister-elect of Trinbago, Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Over in Canada, Mark Carney's Liberal Party wins the Canadian election in a remarkable turnaround for the centre-left party. And speaking exclusively to the BBC, says there is an economic and security partnership to be had between the US and Canada, but it can only happen on our terms, not on their terms. Because he's referring there to the tariffs that are being imposed on Canada. And before that, President Trump saying something that is so ridiculous. He wants Canada to be the US's 51st state. And definitely, that is what that changed the course of the outcome of the general election over in Canada of yesterday. Because people felt that Carney was definitely the better of the two individuals to serve, to steady the ship and to serve at the helm of the government. He was previously governor of the central bank of both Canada and also the UK. So he comes across as somebody who is dependable, somebody who can stand up to Trump. So let's see again how he will perform. The leader of the Conservative Party did not only lead his party into electoral defeat, but he also lost his seat. Let's hear from you now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin.
Good day.
You're on the air. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Am I supposed to restrict my comments to Sir John's?
Anything at all, sir. What's on your mind?
Okay, thank you. Tim, somehow I always sound vexed when I call you, but today I am a bit more vexed than any other day. I'm a registered farmer. Along with my sisters, we plant watermelon, we plant fruit crops. So we were promised some ground cover. Now it was told that each farmer would be getting 2 rolls of ground cover. Now I did mention that some time ago on your program, Tim. And what had happened is that at some point when we went to collect the ground cover, they said that we cannot get 2 anymore, we can only get 1. Tim, yesterday I am passing, not yesterday, day before yesterday. Yesterday was what? Monday?
Yes, sir.
Sunday evening, I was passing by the dairy so playing field, the same field that they said that the turf giving us cancer. The field was surrounded, basically corned off, with the same ground cover, Tim, that they did not give us. So I did not know that ground cover was supposed to be fence cover. So I need the authorities, especially those in dairy, so that use that ground cover that they were supposed to give us for our farms, okay, and use it to block the field for jazz. Because, Tim, honestly, I'm telling you, I'm vexed. Because we need the ground cover, Tim. We have a problem. Our problem is basically weedicides. So we're trying to use as less as possible. Especially when you're planting short-term fruit crops. You don't want to be spraying the ground too much, Tim, because that thing goes directly in the fruits. You understand? So you try with the ground cover, what it does, it prevents the weeds from coming up. It also helps you use less water too, so that your crop stays, fresh in that hot sun. You telling me you refuse to give the farmers the ground cover that was donated towards them, and you're now using it to surround an entire playing field, Tim, so that you could host jazz? And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about or I lied, Tim, send somebody on the dairy so field and take some pictures for you. If they still have it there, I don't know when was the jazz or if it's, I don't know. But send somebody there and get the pictures for you and you will see what I'm talking about. How can you take what was given for farmers, you understand, and use it for jazz? That does not make sense, Tim. It does not add up. You understand? And let us go back to, let me just touch one point, Tim. This administration is making some nonsense claim about what Guy Joseph said. But, Tim, do you know at what point during the term, when the school opened the first term, that they started getting the food for the children? It wasn't until the 4th week. I heard some as far as later than that started getting the food for the children, Tim, and the ministry that's supposed to provide the food. You understand? You cause people to be in a state of poverty in this country with all the taxes that you've placed upon us. And now you're going to give children sanitary, talking about how this is such a good program, My Foot. When if you had kept all the jobs, especially in the south, all the big projects that was going on, if you had kept them up, You understand? Ojos who was employing over 400 people. If you had continued assisting those businesses, you understand, we would not be in that state of poverty today. And then you want to talk about giving to sanitaries. What nonsense is that I'm hearing in this country? What kind of thing is that we subjecting ourselves to in this country? Really? Have a good day, team.
You too, sir. Thank you so much. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages. Another WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello?
Yes, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yes, good afternoon. I haven't been able to do your show today, but just want to comment on something Mr. Guy Joseph mentioned about sanitary napkins. And it's just something where I don't think the Prime Minister should have made a political point on this, but I don't think there is any political point to be made on it, because it is something every high school in America has.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no point of making a political point on this. That's my contribution. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Calling from the diaspora, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says they've WhatsApp, Tim, good day. We had a shooting again in Marigot. And last night during the DBS News World, our lead story was all about the island's latest homicide. Now, it's one thing to report on a homicide and to glibly make reference to the statistics. 18, 19, 20, 21 homicides for the year so far, etc. But it's another thing to actually hear the relatives speak on the deceased, the victim of a shooting incident, and the wailing and the crying in the background. You know, if you're a very sensitive individual, maybe you should not listen to this report, because it is heart-wrenching. A report which was filed last evening during the DBS News World by Miriam Montoot. 24-year-old killed days before his older brother's funeral. And the deceased is Justin Raphael, killed on Sunday evening, and his 31-year-old brother, Kib Jean-Baptiste, was murdered on April the 2nd. And the deceased's burial was scheduled for Sunday. This has to be postponed. Can you put yourself in the shoes, if you care to, of the parents of those two men who were gunned down? If they have siblings, if they have children, girlfriends, friends, etc. Here is that Miriam Montoot report.
Tragedy struck in Marigot Sunday night. 24-year-old Justin Raphael was shot and killed just days before he was to bury his brother, 31-year-old Kib Jean-Baptiste, better known as Kib, who was also murdered on April 2nd this year. His family says that Justin had just finished building his brother's tomb. His brother was due to be buried this Sunday, according to the family. However, they say that they have postponed the funeral.
He wasn't in no drama. He was a very nice person, very jovial. I need justice. I need justice. I really need justice. I need justice. That's all what I can say.
My son is a good boy. He'll never look for trouble. He's always there with me. When I'm talking to him, just listen. But one thing I want police to do to arrest the person that killed him. Only that I can say.
There are now growing concerns about the police's ability to provide protection, as the surviving family members say they are fearful for their own lives and traumatized. In his 2025-2026 budget address, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre pledged increased funding for St. Lucia's Witness Protection Program and announced plans to introduce a witness protection bill in Parliament. However, he admitted that witness protection has its challenges in a small nation like St. Lucia. Despite difficulties, Pierre says that regional efforts are also being made to find solutions. Citizens are also calling upon the police to do better in taking criminals off the streets.
All the neighborhoods people around walking, they just know who. They just say out names. And I don't understand why the police taking so much time to just do a little arresting. Because as far as I'm concerned, what I heard already is the previous crime that had happened in Kulitong was one of the brothers, and that's another brother. And it looking like it's the same shooter again, taking revenge on whatever that he feels like he's doing. So I need government to intervene real fast. They have them going out there. Go and get that fella and bring him in. I don't care any means necessary, as they say. Killed, I don't even care. But right now there, it's just crime is out of hand, and we need a real curve on it. We need somebody to just try to give us some serious help.
Well, I just don't like to hear these things, you know. The youths have to be better than that and try and hold themselves better than that. Stop killing each other and them kind of thing. That ain't bringing nobody nowhere, you know, so you have to look into that and try and live better, try and live a better life, because everybody's life is important.
Former Ancillary Canneries MP Dominic Fede visited the grieving family, admitting that his condolence pales in the face of such deep pain and despair. He called on the nation to unite and take urgent action to end the scourge of crime.
Just feeling their suffering and their sheer pain is just so agonizing. Obviously, we have to go back to the drawing board as a country as it relates to our efforts in fighting crime. Nothing that we've done seems to have really worked effectively and adequately enough. And just listening to the cries in the background is heart-wrenching. And, you know, it's one of those situations where you come and you want to say something that can make someone feel better, but nothing you can say can make them feel good enough and can take away the hurt and the grief that they feel. And it makes you feel helpless.
The police is asking anyone with information regarding this shooting incident to call the Marigot Police Station at 456-3895. Anonymous tips can also be provided by dialing 555 for the crime hotline or by using the RSLPF crime hotline app. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Report was filed last evening during the DBS News World. Very, very sad. What are we going to do about this? What do you expect the St. Lucia government to do about this worsening crime problem? And the supporters of this government will tell you that, you know, it's our responsibility. All of us must play our part. The people of St. Lucia, they have never denied this. But there's something called leadership. And people who are at the helm, people who have been elected, not just to dish out sanitary napkins and those things, you know. Not only that, but also to protect the lives of men, women, children in St. Lucia, the citizens. Because the PNM has paid a heavy price, defeated at the polls yesterday in Trinidad. Because what? Among other things, the worsening crime problem. Say to the voters of Trinidad and Tobago, you should not have voted the PNM out of office, irrespective of the Twin Island Republic recording 624 homicides. Not counting other people who were shot and injured, not discounting kidnappings. Forget about that. Don't hold any government responsible for crime in a country. The inability of the government to address those issues successfully and to implement effective measures to deal with that scourge. And the same obtains for St. Lucia. It appears that those who are in authority are powerless. They can't do anything about the situation. And a leader's responsibility, among other things, is to ensure that law and order is maintained in a country. If this cannot happen, then you get the impression that that country is rudderless. Good afternoon to you, Amanda. Let's find out what's happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. A few comments from early in the chat room. Someone says here, no one compares to Sir John, a man of vision, empathy, and intelligence. Another comment reads, every man has an equal right to live and be free no matter what color, class, or race he may be. A NewsSpinner says here, in my estimation, Sir John is the greatest of all time. Mr. Shastri could have been a great Prime Minister if he was given the chance to really put his vision for the country into action. Another comment reads, there is a need for someone to publish a book highlighting Sir John's life and accomplishments. I am asking Rick Wayne and Peter Josie to take on the task. Someone says, I look not for tomorrow's vote, but for tomorrow's children. Sir John. Comment reads, Sir John Compton was a leader, not a dictator or a boss. He led the people under this country with integrity, accountability, responsibility, honesty, and transparency. I remembered when there was trouble in his camp. He came from his hospital bed and right to his office and then put pen and paper together and fired Rufus. And one of the touching moments is while George Odlum was sick on his hospital bed, Sir John Compton put all the differences aside and went to visit George Odlum and lay next to him on his hospital bed. And they had a conversation. That is what leaders do. They lead and not mislead. A NewsSpinner says here, that was the starting of the death of the nation and the banana industry. Another comment reads, women do not even like to talk about period and sanitary napkins, but you all in Parliament embarrassing our young girls about period poverty. I can understand you want to make an allocation for the product, but why broadcast this to the world? Don't you all have female relatives? Someone says there, today we are offended by the word period and the term period poverty. Sort hypocrite we? You all have a minister using talk shows insulting women, calling them the nastiest of names, but now you'll clutch your pearls and not realizing that your hands are already bloodied from your acceptance of actual nasty utterances from sitting government ministers and Labour Party talk show hosts. Get a grip. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much for that update. Some more coming up during the course of our program. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, of course, still to come. Some more calls from you and what somebody has to say about the St. Lucia National Trust.
KFC is bringing the flavor and the vibes with the Jazz Box. Just $30. Get one zinger or big crunch sandwich, 5 undipped wings, fries, a biscuit, 16-ounce drink, and a shot at VIP Jazz Weekend for 2. Buy a Jazz Box at any of our 5 KFC locations. Write your name and number on the receipt and drop it in the entry box to enter. Draw takes place May 7th. VIP tickets for May 9th, 10th, and 11th could be yours. Available now till May 31st. Only at KFC St. Lucia. Dine in, drive through, or order online at kfcslu.com. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucelec wishes to advise customers and the public that its customer service offices at the Carolec building in San Souci and VA4 are temporarily closed to facilitate urgent maintenance. The Lucelec Cantonment office in VA4 is now open on a limited basis, offering all services except payments. The Rodney Bay office remains open to serve customers. Customers who wish wish to make payments during this closure are encouraged to access the My Account service at myaccount.luselec.com, SurePay's online and walk-in service options, or participating financial institutions. Payments made via SurePay and My Account Direct on weekdays from 8 to 4 p.m. will be processed to customer accounts the same day. Payments made after 4 p.m. will be processed the next business day. For account balances, please dial the automated account inquiry service line at 457-4433. Customers can access other Luselec services by using the virtual service desk at www.luselec.com. The management of Luselec deeply regrets any inconvenience caused by these closures and thanks its valued customers for their patience and understanding.
I've seen you here before, and I have something special just for you. What have we here? Happy housewarming to me? That's the MNC Home Depot Rewards Card. You'll earn points every time you shop, plus exclusive savings and promotions just for you. Just for me? Yes, just for you. Shop in store or online and enjoy a seamless experience. So I get to treat myself every time I shop? Exactly. It's time to reward yourself.
MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Rewards Card. Sign up and reward yourself today at www.mnchomedepot.com.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Stop. How much more pain can you take? Back pain, blinding headaches, numbness, weak knees, spinal injuries, stroke. You've tried everything. Nothing works. Enough. La Clinique du Corps has the experts and technology to diagnose and fix the problem permanently. Our specialist doctors use cutting-edge solutions to treat back pain, knee pain, sciatica, stroke recovery, spinal injuries, arthritis, heel pain, and more. With advanced pain management techniques, we provide fast, effective relief so you can live pain-free. La Clinique du Corps is an approved universal healthcare service provider in St. Lucia, accepting all approved insurance. Take back your life. Call La Clinique du Corps right now at 451-6559 to book your appointment. Pain stops here.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Butey. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
On
On Sunday, May 4th, it's a party under the pitons. Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience. MTX Band, Sly, Arthur Alware, Rebel 7, DYP, Farmer Nappy, Cohen Dubois, T-Vice, and headliner Busy Signal. Party with us, dine with us, stay with us for Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience. Tickets are only $150 EC. You can choose to elevate your experience at our VIP village for only $400 EC. The best value for money, the best vibes in the most exquisite location. Tickets available from the Cell Outlets Island-wide, SRDF office in Soufre, and www.fourcirclestickets.com. Sunday, May 4th, Soufre Mini Stadium. Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It's called NewsSpin. 4522979 will get you on the air. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Do you live in the South and want to purchase a new vehicle? Peter and Company Auto Nissan, in collaboration with Republic Bank, will be in Vieux at the Republic Bank parking lot tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 30th. Vehicles will be on display from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Jazz it up in May with a new Nissan vehicle. Let's turn our attention now to what's happening in the chat room. Amanda, good afternoon to you once again.
Good afternoon again, Tim. And NewsSpinner says here, how did we get here as a people? From emancipation to this, we are haters of ourselves. Black on black hatred, but I guess black lives no longer matter. Now the comment reads, these things are not new. Yet all that we hear is that the government is looking for solutions. Sometimes it makes you wonder if some of the people putting themselves up for leadership genuinely care, especially about people who share no real connection with them. The document reads, my humble opinion is that sufficient is not being done to curb the crime situation. If the government can't figure it out, they need to get regional or international help immediately. For crime is never on the forefront in Parliament. All I hear they speak about is deals. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Somebody in the chat room says, y'all want to celebrate John Compton's birthday more than his wife? You're wrong for that. 4522979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if you have a call on the landline. In the meantime, let me see as well if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Somebody says their mothers don't allow this man to know when is your daughter's period. Mother put a pad in their bag to go to school. And another WhatsApp message, somebody says that, Tim, a long time ago, I used to oppose the death penalty because I didn't think it was right. I believed in human rights and upholding the law. I tried my best to follow the rules. I did my part until I was assaulted in broad daylight in my apartment on the morn at the time. That was a day I will never forget. My court case against this man has never been called. He sits on remand while my taxes feed him. It's been years now. I'm married, I have a daughter, and these memories are still haunting me. It may not be the answer, but trust me, the prison would have a lot more space if the death penalty was brought back. And why would this individual be still on remand after so many years? Backlog of cases, insufficient magistrates, insufficient judges, etc. Let's see if you have a call on the landline at 4522979. Once again, 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. I think we have a call via WhatsApp. Let's try that call. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to touch on the subject for today. So, Tim, if I'm to understand it, right? We're supposed to be patriotic. We're supposed to love our country, right?
Yes, we should.
So today, John Compton would have been 100 years, and nothing. There was no announcement from the government, nothing like that. So, I don't recall hearing anything. from the government?
Well, we are very divided politically. If Sir John Compton, let's say in recent years, was at the helm of the St. Lucia Labour Party, I'm sure there'd be much fanfare, a lot of celebratory activities and so on. Don't expect this to happen under a reign of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I think the same obtains when the United Workers' Party in office, you don't pay tribute to stalwarts of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Exactly, Tim. And I'm saying that we have to end this. This has to end, because if you're saying you are patriotic, you're saying that the very first our first prime minister and the father of independence doesn't even get any kind of recognition. You know, I mean, just think about it, Tim.
Yeah.
I know we're polarized right now, but these are the things that can bring the country together. These are the kinds of celebrations that you can use. I don't know who are the consultants that talk to these people or whatever and stuff like that, because I'm sure they have consultants, right? You can use an opportunity like that to say, okay, let me put aside my political difference and how I feel, but let me, as a government, Tim, not as a political party, but as a government, you can use an opportunity like that to call to, you know, have the nation celebrate what, you know, would have been the late prime minister's birthday. When you want to preach to the young people, there's no reason. You see, Tim, this is the reason why these young men are killing each other, because they don't know how to settle the differences. So these are the kind of opportunities you can use. You can teach this today could have been a teaching moment for the young people in primary schools and stuff like that. You could have had a big celebration for this, Tim. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know. Tim, because I get it. I was you know, I try to watch all the different programs and listen to all the different programs, because I'm a St. Lucian living overseas, and I'm sure, like many other St. Lucians, we're concerned about what's going on. So we pay attention to what's happening. And so I was following, you know, the program last evening with Spider, and none of this stuff that was being discussed, Tim, you know, in terms of presenting facts and stuff like that. I mean, I was reading the you know, the comments room and stuff, and people were just like using the most vile, you know, words to describe and throw at each other. I'm saying to him, even if you disagree with what he's saying, can you not bring your facts to refute what he's saying?
A lot of those people who watch those shows, they are not so sophisticated, you know. They're just in the chat room to create trouble, you know, to distract, and to engage in an insulting, you know, contest. That's what it is.
That's what I got from just reading the comments. You know, I was trying to pay attention to what was being said, because, you know, a lot of the discussion about the CIP, any solution should be concerned about. It doesn't matter which political party that because if the SLP gets back into power, there are things that are going to come down the line, okay, out of what's happening and stuff. There are things that's going to affect the country. So even if the SLP retains the power and stuff, they're going to have to answer to what's going to, you know, what the rulings that the courts are going to have to make, and what possibly, you know, the United States, you know, are going to do about, you know, some of the stuff that's being said. So I'm trying to follow what's happening. You know, like I said, I venture into different forums and stuff to see what's happening, and it's like people are not interested in saying, okay, this is my country. How would I feel if it was the other way around? If it was the UWP that was in power, and all of this being said, how would I feel about it as a St. Lucian? So let me try to listen to what's being said and address what's being said, instead of the name calling, because you just want to retain power, you know. So, you know, I just thought, you know, I'm here driving, and I'm thinking it is so sad that, you know, no matter what political party that you support, you telling me that the man who was the first prime minister and father of independence, you cannot even, as a government, take some time to acknowledge that, and, you know, and a better, you know, celebration couldn't have been done to, you know, so that we can recognize something like that as a country. You know, this is just so sad. I mean, you know, for me, and I'm sure like any other solution, this is a sad. What should have been a joyous day is, you have to look back and say it's a sad day,
Okay.
And I also, just one more thing, Tim, because
Yes.
I am a former law enforcement officer, so I was listening to the clip you played earlier, and it's so heartbreaking, to listen to that family. It's so sad, man. I mean, how can we as a nation, just allow this to just continue? It's just sad. My condolences goes out to the family and to all the families that are going through these times, because after you bury that person, all of the stuff that the family have to deal with, Tim, it's sad, and it takes its toll on the country. It's going to take its toll on the country.
It definitely does.
So,
but,
yes, sir.
Yeah, it definitely does. But if you listen to what the leaders have to say in terms of their rhetoric, you would not realize that we have this serious crime problem on our hands right now, because they're just ignoring it, they're sidestepping it, because they believe that will put them, that puts their back against the wall with a pending general election, and the people will call on them to account. So they ignore this and they speak on other issues that are not of relevance, to the people of this country. And I don't even believe that the people understand what is being done to them, pulling the wool over their eyes.
I mean, Tim, I know I've said a mouthful, and I'm a new contributor to the program, Tim, but like I said again, you're gonna win. Even if you win the election, these issues are not gonna go away. And what are you doing to seriously address it? I mean, the Prime Minister appointed, he gave a ministerial position to was the guy Jeremiah Norbert.
Yes, crime prevention.
And since right, sir. And if you go back and you look at the statistics, since Jeremiah Norbert got that position, crime, especially homicides in the country, has increased. If you were to go back and do a study of since his appointment and look at the statistics in terms of homicides, you will see that it has increased. So what is he really doing? What is he really doing to address this particular issue, Tim? I mean, seriously. Again, like I said, you're going to win the election, but the issue is going to be right there. So you think by not talking about it, it's just going to go away? No, it's not, Tim. You have to address it. And Tim, I want to commend them for obviously increasing the vehicles they've given to the police, but it takes more than that. It takes more than just giving the police vehicles and bragging, because any government that's in power has to give the police vehicles, Tim.
Yes, they have to.
So it's not like you're doing something extraordinary or extra special and stuff like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying, Tim? You have to give the police the equipment. That's your job as a government. So that's nothing for you to brag about. But what are you doing to address those issues in terms of real policy? So it's up to the St. Lucia people to say, hey, this is an issue that we want addressed. And even if, yes, I'm benefiting in one way or fashion from something that the government is giving, but this is a particular issue I want addressed. Don't only make it an issue when your family is directly impacted.
Okay, caller.
That's my contribution.
All right.
Today,
Thank you so much. Calling from the diaspora. We have another call online via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon to you on the air. Yes, good afternoon to you, Pato. You're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Timmy. How are you?
I am okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good afternoon to Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
And I want to say a special good afternoon to one of my good friends at Miku, a new spinner. Her name is Alfia, a.k.a. Alfifi. Have a blessed afternoon. Timmy.
Yes, sir.
The other day, I think that's the second time I'll be saying that. I speak my mind. And it seems like how things are going in St. Lucia right now. You cannot speak your mind. There's no freedom of speech. And if you speak your mind, and I'm telling you, when I speak my mind, that is big talk, because I stand by it. When I make a contribution on Monday, I had it on Sunday already. So I just don't come there and talk because I have a mouth. I think of what I have to say, and I say what I have to say. The other day I said about the way some of the ministers are doing their thing to start project, to spend money and to cancel it and go back to other projects. They are acting like they are mad. And I said some of their followers that cannot see nothing wrong with that, they are acting like they are off. So I say mad and off thing that is going in St. Lucia. I did not mention no name. I said something in general. I think we all can remember when Mr. Richard Frederick made a statement about Zelev. When they questioned the Prime Minister, he asked them, did he call names? So my thing today is, did I call any name? I spoke in general. And for today, I know what I'm telling you, Timmy. It has been not only vexation, it has been hatred. You know? Because when one will go back into your past and things that they had already forgiven you for, and to bring it back in your present, thinking that will decide your future, that cannot work. That cannot work. And I stand by what I say. I did not mean nobody in special, but I stand by what I say. I will leave it as that, but not before I say, because I know what I'm saying. Some people think because they say we are in a Christian world. St. Lucia is a Christian place, a prayer believer people. But I'm saying that when someone has accepted the Lord as Lord and Savior of their life, that is not the end of their journey. It is just a door you open to start on that journey. That is why I leave it as. May God bless somebody.
Okay, Patu, thank you so much for calling. Let's see if you have another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Good afternoon, Timmy.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Good afternoon to Miss King.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, Timothy, you read a case about a lady who being violated at home, and then the person is accused of the crime is on remand for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And the case has not been brought forward, not as yet. I'll tell you, Timothy, I've been around the court for a little while. And would you believe, Timothy, I would blame the magistrates and the judges, you know. Why I blame the magistrates and courts, the judges, Timothy? I'll tell you safely, Timothy, you know, there are people who know that the cases are coming up. They prepare themselves for 9 o'clock. Sometimes they're there for 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock. No magistrate, no judge. But they're waiting. 11:45. No magistrate, no judges, Timothy. Trust me, I've been around, I've seen it. And 12 o'clock, the magistrate or the judges, they arrive with their entourage, whatever they are, police officers accompanying them. And within 15 minutes, Timothy, you see they're out of the door. They leave it for the court administrator to adjourn the matters, Timothy. And that has been happening for years. And the lawyers know that. You know, the lawyers know that that has been happening for many years. That is the reason why all those backlog of cases are not being heard, Timothy. I could tell you that. Sometimes you're waiting for the magistrate. For instance, the magistrate. When all that time passes, 11:30, you don't see him or her. Guess what? That's when 11:30 or 11:45, Timothy, that he or she taking a shower to come to court, you know. While you're there for 8:30, you know. And you're obviously on the receiving end because your matter is being heard today. And you think that it's going to be heard today, but it's going to be adjourned. And that is really not fair, man. That's not fair to persons who have been seated there for 8:30. Cases are matter at 9 o'clock, and then the magistrate or judges are not showing up. And when they do show up, Timothy, they adjourn the matters. That is not right, man.
And if, for example, on a particular occasion you are late, you know what will happen to you, eh? And if the magistrate or the judge is early, they will scold you.
They will spend some months for you.
Yeah.
If you do not appear, for instance, by realize it's 12 o'clock, and you say the court is not going to happen today, you're going to go home. They're going to get sell summons to a police to arrest you and tell why you didn't appear. Just for you to find an adjournment date, you didn't appear. You did appear. Unfortunately, that you waited and they came in late. I cannot understand why this thing will be able to continue. That's why there's so many cases, Timothy. There are a lot of cases there, a lot of cases there, and because of the magistrate and the judges delayed, that is why that happening. I've seen that happen so many times. That's why I say I don't politicize crime. I said to myself, I do not politicize crime. It's because of all of that. Those they put in charge to think the crime, they're not doing the job. That's as far as I could look at it. They're not doing the job, Timothy, and that's why.
Okay, caller.
Even
you're saying
even some of the corporate matters, you know them already. Come, they follow lawyers, 3-4 lawyers, and then they still matters not being heard. Matters being adjourned every single time like that.
The civil cases.
Civil matters, yes.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. I see it all the time. They prepare all the closing submissions, everything, and then unfortunately, that matter is being adjourned. Magistrate or judge has to go to lunch and all kind of thing. It's just you're waiting for them and they're at your home. They just started bathing. They're bathing at 11:30 and they come in there and they're adjourning the matters, and that happening for weeks upon weeks. That is what. That's why all those guys are rotting at a body because the matters haven't been heard. That is unfair.
Okay,
cool. Thank you, Timothy.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, the mother's cry is coming from her belly, deep down, and from her heart for her 2 sons. I feel it. I pray for comfort and swift justice for her. Let's see if we have a call on the landline at 452-2979. In the meantime, WhatsApp message. To help solve the Prime Minister's statement about period poverty, the taxes should be removed on sanitary products and better control so that it can be purchased. If the Prime Minister was so concerned about period poverty, why did he increase the tax? Asking for a friend. Okay. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. Okay, no, I can't go through this one. Another one. I'm a Labour supporter, but I do believe Philip J. Pierre should fire Stevenson King. The people had all of Easter to patch roads, but would wait till last minute on Sunday past to rush and patch holes the day before school reopens. We can do better than that. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. There's blather talk that I feel the need to address, since some of it seems personal to me. Our national anthem is sacred and paramount. We should be very sensitive about it, and some individuals are making a mockery of this to distract us from the issues that are very crucial in our country. Hence the reason our newly selected candidate for Miku North knows the importance of our motto and anthem. Therefore, he is using our motto to help run his campaign. The father of the nation, Sir John, said it best, and his, Sir John's, main focus was the land, the people, the light. The land, Sir John fought for this land and allowed our people an opportunity to purchase a piece of land at an affordable rate for our families, while foreigners try to purchase and occupy all. 2, the people. He cared for them. That's why he made it accessible so hard-working men can build homes for their children, deemed our children's toil and rest. 3, the light. After he provided some of our secondary schools because of lack of electricity, he made sure kids would not go through the dark when walking home. So he provided us with lamp poles. Dawn at last a brighter day stretches out a glad new way. Happy birthday, Sir John. Continue to rest peacefully. We love you. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
I'd like to ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name one foreign investor apart from Hess that have made a contribution to St. Lucia nationally?
Sandals.
Sandals?
Stewart. Yes, Stewart. The late Stewart.
All right. Sanders have employed a lot of St. Lucians.
Yeah.
But all the money going directly to Florida. That's where the money is going to. Florida, period. I used to work Sanders, so I'm telling you, I know of that. Like local businessmen like Bryson Company. Bryson Company has been in business for over 3 decades. Bryson Company has he has generated money directly to the local economy. All those foreign investors that come into St. Lucia, we just give them land. When Compton was Prime Minister, you come and invest, make a contribution directly to the local economy. We have so many schools that have been built by Hess. Right now, Sanders has been in St. Lucia almost 3 decades. I don't know what significantly they have done in St. Lucia, apart from employing people.
Well, they have a foundation where they look after the needy and children, etc. I think they do play their part, Cole. I don't think you should underestimate the contribution that Sanders has made as far as providing employment to hundreds of St. Lucians. I don't think you should underestimate it at all.
Yeah, but anybody that decide to come to St. Lucia to open hotels, they have to employ locals. It's prudent. And the St. Lucians know. I mean, that's how it operates. Most hotels, when they come to an island, they employ locals. So any hotel that comes to St. Lucia, will still get employment. I think when a foreign investor decide to come to St. Lucia, we should have a plan. What are you gonna build for us? At least we need so many things in St. Lucia. So Castries do not have a main police station and a fire station. That should be one of the things we ask before people decide just come in and just enjoy and making money and just sending the money away. I think Bryson Company, before this guy passed away, we have to honor this guy. This guy has been in business for almost 4 decades and doing so much for St. Lucia. We forget our locals. We celebrate foreigners, but we need to celebrate our local entrepreneurs before they close their eyes and then we say those guys were good. Bryce is contributing a lot to our local economy. That's my contribution.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. All right, somebody calling there from the diaspora. That contribution by somebody who I think lives in Canada. I think it's the United States, sorry. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there, Tim, Uncle Shash should take the challenge and tell the people of Central Castries if they allow Mr. Clark to win, he will share the $1 million among them. Another WhatsApp message. Today they are repainting double yellow lines on Miku and Brogley streets and blocking traffic. Shaking my head. What about the vehicles already parked there? Will they go underneath them to paint? Shaking my head. We have another WhatsApp message. Hey Tim, there is a shortage of rice and other products and also certain meat products as well. And we hear nothing from our doing well government. Another WhatsApp message. This goes out to Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot. Our passports could not be printed for 10 years, and now all of a sudden they could be printed for 10 years. Where is the justice in this? For persons who paid a huge sum last year for a 5-year passport, only to have 10 years added this year. Another WhatsApp message. Tim, I go to court on behalf of the company I work for, and the lawyers are just there walking around, joking around, and waiting on judges, etc. Some lawyers are not showing up also. 452-2979, and let's see if you have a call on the landline at 452-2979. And in the meantime, we go through to see if we have any WhatsApp message. Have we not celebrated Simon Bolivar's birthday in the past? And we can't celebrate Sir John Compton. Our. Labor too divisive, dirty politics. Amanda, what's happening in the chat room? Anything to report on?
I have a few comments. A NewsSpinner says here, where are the people that spoke about human rights? Are being gunned down? Do they not deserve to be spoken for? Lucians, why aren't you speaking out, shouting and screaming about all of this senseless killings? Another comment reads, political affiliations should have been put aside today and all should be commemorating the 100th birthday of the father of the nation, Sir John George Melvin Compton. A NewsSpin says US presidents on both sides are celebrated. Shake my head. The difference between advanced minds and a banana mindset. Another comment reads, scholar, that would mean the government having to involve the opposition and that ain't gonna happen. Someone says here, our judicial system is everything but systematic. Adjournments are now part of the Lucian culture. Someone replied to this saying, don't worry, the halls of justice building will solve this. Another comment reads, the caller, because the politicians we have now do not demand direct investment for the benefit of the people. Instead, they want investment into their personal wealth creation. You don't have to look too far to see examples of rags to riches politicians in our society. We have more than enough examples. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Somebody has said something about the St. Lucia National Trust because of late we're not hearing from that entity. It was so vocal, hosting press conferences, releasing press releases, but of late, it has certainly gone very silent. So Spider made reference to the St. Lucia National Trust last evening on his program Like It Is.
Yeah. Even that project with where they have shifted the Halls of Justice.
The Halls of Justice, right.
There is no guarantee that when they go and start to do piling, it's not going to affect the church.
Right.
The Catholic Church was built in a time where there was no steel being put into walls, etc. and so on. I don't know how old it is, 100 years or more. When the heavy piling starts there, we have no guarantee this church is not going to come down. And there are people in this society that know better, but for some reason, they're not saying anything.
Just like the mangoes on my farm, the National Trust is seasonal.
Leonard Spider Motoot speaking last evening on his program Like It Is. This is the most monitored show in the world. It is called NewsSpin Silicon. I have a contribution via WhatsApp from somebody who says that they are a retired teacher and is making a contribution on this whole period poverty controversy. Do you live in the South and want to purchase a new vehicle? Peter and Company Auto Nissan, in collaboration with Republic Bank, will be in VA4 at the Republic Bank parking lot tomorrow, Wednesday, the 30th of April 2025. Vehicles will be on display from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Jazz it up in May with a new Nissan vehicle. And once again, that's taking place tomorrow, Wednesday, the 30th of April. And that's Peter and Company in collaboration with Republic Bank. In the parking lot, vehicles will be on display from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and jazz it up in May with a new Nissan vehicle. Back in a bit.
On Saturday, June 14th, as the island ignites at Lumina, taking over Project Chocolat, Mikal Teja. Mikal Teja. Mikal Teja.
Lauren say it cold out in New York City. If you're yes, she ballin', I need a little rundown.
Alongside soca sensations Ezra and Slide. Backed up by the electrifying Impulse Band. Music by Hype Kid, A1 Jugglers, the Caleb DJ Sir Lancelot. Powered by Island Sounds. Hosted by MC Donoville. Tickets $130, no door sales. Get yours at the Cell Island-wide, Mambo's Bar in Soufriere, or online at 4circlestickets.com. On Saturday, June 14th, Lumina. From 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Dress code Caribbean chic.
Lucelec wishes to advise customers and the public that its customer service offices at the Carolec building in Sans Souci and VF4 are temporarily closed to facilitate urgent maintenance. The Lucelec Cantonment office in VF4 is now open on a limited basis, offering all services except payments. The Rodney Bay office remains open to serve customers. Customers who wish to make payments during this closure are encouraged to access the My Account service at myaccount.lucelec.com. SurePay's online and walk-in service options or participating financial institutions. Payments made via SurePay and My Account Direct on weekdays from 8 to 4 p.m. will be processed to customer accounts the same day. Payments made after 4 p.m. will be processed the next business day. For account balances, please dial the automated account inquiry service line at 457-4433. Customers can access other Luselect services by using the virtual service desk at www.luselect.com. The management of Luselect deeply regrets any inconvenience caused by these closures and thanks its valued customers for their patience and understanding.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
St. Lucia, are you ready for the ultimate all-inclusive?
Chalet Blanc, the all-white event. Tier 1 now available at Frontline Ticketing, Eventbrite, Digicel Baywalk Mall, 4 Circles Ticketing, or WhatsApp at 240-344-8629. A musical journey curated by the best local and international DJs. St. Lucia Carnival Saturday, July 19th, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
At Sanders Golf and Country Club, Kappa State.
Look something to talk about.
Unlimited drink, brunch buffet, top-class entertainment.
Stay tuned. This event is powered by One Golden Fox and Natalie Events.
Stop. How much more pain can you take? Back pain, blinding headaches, numbness, weak knees, spinal injuries, stroke. You've tried everything. Nothing works. Enough. La Clinique du Corps has the experts and technology to diagnose and fix the problem permanently. Our specialist doctors use cutting-edge solutions to treat back pain, knee pain, sciatica, stroke recovery, spinal injuries, arthritis, heel pain, and more. With advanced pain management techniques, we provide fast, effective relief so you can live pain-free. La Clinique du Corps is an approved universal healthcare service provider in St. Lucia, accepting all approved insurance. Take back your life. Call La Clinique du Corps right now at 451-6559 to book your appointment. Pain stops here.
Open up to savings at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt. Happening now. Enjoy 15% off on all windows and doors. Upgrading, renovating, or building, we've got the perfect doors and windows for your home. Now is the perfect time to save on that home renovation. Choose from stylish casement windows, sliding windows, wooden or metal doors. Hurry, this deal won't last long. Get 15% off on all doors and windows. Terms and conditions apply. Visit MNC Home Depot or Sunbelt today.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. The WhatsApp message, somebody says that it looks like they are putting a barrier around their Judah property and have made the sidewalk facing Digicel much smaller. Another WhatsApp message, just my 2 cents in this poverty period matter. I am a retired teacher and I do not know for other schools, but throughout my teaching career, students always had access to sanitary napkins. Never once did I experience a child having a menstruation emergency because they knew they could go to the office. I would not understand why any primary or secondary school would not have these napkins readily available for the students. If the government is willing to give more, then that's okay, but a political mountain is being made out of this molehill. Let's see if you have a call via the landline at 452-2979. Somebody says in the meantime, the St. Lucia National Trust members are sitting in Parliament behind the Labour Party MP or MPs listening to the budget. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. The person says there, so John Compton was our Prime Minister for more than 3 decades. He was the one who led us into independence. It is time for us to learn to separate politics from governance and national pride. It is sad to see how we place politics ahead of people. It is time that we grow up and respect people's achievements by putting aside color and also party. Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that via WhatsApp, the Prime Minister needs to understand if you grow your economy properly, pads for school at that level would not be needed. You claim unemployment is at the lowest, but people are poorer, making me understand this. A few pads at a school in case a child has a little mishap, I understand. The government is trying to win the heart of the people. They keep poor by any means just for a vote. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, Tim. Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon to you.
Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah. Tim, last night I was listening to a talk show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hearing things that threw my mind back to the days of Rochamel and Frenwell. Do you recall those names?
Yes, I do.
Rochamel and Frenwell?
Yes.
Now, the primary thing coming out of those companies' operations in St. Lucia was that apparently the government of St. Lucia guaranteed a loan without the permission of the of Parliament for a debt incurred by one of these two companies in the respect of the bill of building the facility that now houses sandals at Pigeon Point.
Mm-hmm.
And that was unknown to the public, certainly to the rest of the Parliament, until the bank in Trinidad called on the government to pay that loan when the loan was not being paid by the company. Do you recall that?
Yes, yes.
And there was this massive furore about it. I think it even ended up in some sort of commission of inquiry. But then there was an amendment to the Finance Administration Act, which was supposedly intended to put an end to shenanigans like that. But listening last night on this program, it appears that exactly the same thing has happened in respect of the CIP program. Because here I was hearing that, for example, Galaxy was supposed to have advanced the government $100 million in respect of one of the projects they were doing, and that is effectively a loan to the government. And that would not have been known to the Parliament. It only came out last night, listening to the host on the program, reading those things. And I think a similar situation existed in the case of BMAX. They were supposed to put in $25 million plus cost into the project, again as an advance of the project they were undertaking. So it seems that the more we get into situations like that, the less we learn from them. And in the case of Galaxy now, apparently there was an agreement made within the contract that was signed that now potentially exposes the government of St. Lucia to a liability of $1.5 billion. And we seem to drift along, and nobody's speaking about this thing. I expected your lines to be sort of like hot with this topic today, hearing the exposure of $1.5 billion, and this is contracted. They were seeking, the government of St. Lucia was seeking to amend the agreement they had with Galaxy, and Galaxy was advising them by way of letter that they have no right to unilaterally amend the contract. They have a contract, and the contract suggests that Galaxy should get in $1.5 billion. This is, we are on the hook for this. And nobody is speaking about that sort of thing. Certainly, in the corporate sense, if a financial controller were to go and put his company in a mess like that, he'd be looking for a job the next day. But we move on as if life is going to go on, and this thing is hanging over our heads when we're borrowing left, right, and center, trying to keep the country afloat. And I don't know why we aren't getting people who are fully in tune with these matters, speaking out, and letting the country, the shareholders, know exactly what is going on. Last night, for the first time, we became aware that the chairman of the CIP may not be Lon Theophilus. Somebody has signed a letter going to Galaxy asking them about amending this contract. It wasn't he. And this is top-level stuff. And the other part that amazes me is that every single contract that is entered into by the government of St. Lucia has to be vetted by the Attorney General's office. It is beyond me how something like that could pass through the Attorney General's office and not see the danger in the particular clause that Galaxy invoked to bring this potential liability of $1.5 billion to bear. And to compound it, Hilaire, who is the minister of CIP, I call him, he assured St. Lucians that the monies that arose out of the Galaxy contract went into an escrow account. Now it turns out there was no escrow account. The money was Galaxy's money. As he said, that's the only part of it was correct. It was their money. But it wasn't in an escrow account. There was no counter-signatory to these monies. So effectively, all the monies that have been collected in respect of these passport or issuance of passports, this money is lost to St. Lucia. Galaxy has a legal right to it because it was contracted out. Now the question arises here again, what authority does the government of St. Lucia have to bypass the Finance Administration Act, which says that all monies due to the government of St. Lucia should be going into the consolidated fund? So this thing here is an unholy mess, that if the Prime Minister was sufficiently independent of all the people working under him, he should be requesting the resignation of Hilaire this morning. And on top of it, after he has delivered Hilaire, he should resign from his position because he failed in his major duty, which is protecting the assets of the country. But I am not hearing people speaking, even people who have significant investments in St. Lucia, who stand to lose their investments, but when the economy collapses. We are hearing nothing. We are drifting along. We're talking about everything else. Some of it's serious, I agree. But in terms of seriousness, this has to be tops. Our future is compromised immensely by just these two transactions between BMAX and Galaxy. And we aren't hearing a word about this. And to compound an awful situation, we have a situation here where now the IMF, which is one of the critical funding agencies in the world, is questioning information being submitted to them by the government of St. Lucia. And I don't know why, given the importance of the IMF, that any information would go to the IMF and it is not properly vetted and reviewed, etc. This thing is unforgivable. And even compounded on again, Hilaire was on television last night trying to explain away this giant gaffe by referring to, I think, an error that occurred back in 2019. It's like little boys are playing in big men game, and we're not hearing anything about this thing. My concern in all this mess is, if we get to know these things by accident because nobody's telling us, what about the things that we don't know? What is happening about the things that we don't know? What is happening with BMAX, with, what's its name? GBH, for example. Because that's another one. That's a black hole. Nobody knows what's going on in there. At least we've seen those letters. I don't know if it's a whistleblower or whatever sent them out. But what about the GPH? Nobody's saying anything. How can we go into a contract when we get in $1 for giving away 10? Tim, have a nice day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Do you live in the South and want to purchase a new vehicle? Peter and company Auto Nissan, in collaboration with Republic Bank, will be in Vieux at the Republic Bank parking lot tomorrow, Wednesday, April 30th. Vehicles will be on display from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. jazz it up in May with a new Nissan vehicle. Finally from us, our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, in Trinidad and Tobago, yellow overwhelms red as the UNC sweeps to power amid a shocking rejection of the PNM. In Trinidad and Tobago, yellow overwhelms red as the UNC sweeps to power amid a shocking rejection of the PNM. That's the NewsSpin news of the day as well as the NewsSpin broadcast for today. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.